Hi, church. Pastor Jeff here with another Trinity check-in, and today I want to enlarge your view of prayer. Last Sunday was the fourth, I think, Sunday in our series on doubt that's connected with so many, and part of and what it was about was to talk about unanswered prayer, something that gives us all doubts from time to time. But as I was working on it, I realized that it's really only about one type of prayer. It's about what's sometimes called intercessory prayer. A more plain way to say it is a prayer of asking, where we bring our requests to God. And that's a good type of prayer and an important type of prayer. We should bring our requests to God. How we hold it, I think, well, that was the topic last Sunday. If you missed it, go back and watch it. Easy enough to do. But as we grow in our faith, as we grow in our spirituality, as we deepen in our spirituality, we learn enough more about prayer where the concept of unanswered prayer almost starts to fall a little bit flat, because prayer isn't about an answer. At least most prayer isn't. Prayer that's not prayer of asking. And that's what I thought I'd talk a little bit more about today. So I'm kind of in my unofficial spirituality corner here in my office. On this shelf, I have a lot of things that are, tools for prayer of different sorts. I have my ashes. Ash Wednesday is coming up soon, so there'll be more of that. Some oil to mix it with. My Tibetan singing bowls, communion cup, that kind of thing. But I also have other tools for prayer here. So, for instance, prayer beads. This is for a type of prayer that you might consider contemplative. Catholics do the rosary, of course, but these are Anglican prayer beads from the Church of England. And there are different ways to do it. What you do is you say a different prayer on each bead. You move your thumb, say that prayer again. So you say it over and over again, and the repetitiveness of it helps to draw you deeper. And then after 7 days, you get to a big bead. Well, days in the, spiritual sense. You get to the big bead where you say a different prayer, and then you do it again until you get to another big bead. And then finally, when you get to the end, there's another prayer for the cross. And it's a way to help keep us focused, especially if your mind tends to wander when you pray. That's just one example of many. There are prayers of praise, prayers of adoration for God, prayers of confession and forgiveness. That's not so much about asking, maybe asking for forgiveness, but it's asking for something that we know God grants us even before we finish the ask. I'm more drawn to these contemplative types of prayers in my own self. For instance, like the prayer beads. This is something that I carry around in my pocket. Maybe some of you have seen me pull it out at times. I'm a fidgeter. If you've ever been in a meeting with me, you know I'm always having to fidget with something in my hands. And so I keep these pocket prayer beads in my pocket. You stick your finger through here, and then you can go around the beads and say another prayer when you get to this. Sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes I just do this to keep my hand busy, but to keep my hand busy in a way that focuses me on God and helps me with that kind of focus. Labyrinths are, of course, a type of prayer, and we have one out here on our hill that anybody is welcome to anytime. In fact, I've seen people get ice cream at 402 Creamery and then go sit on the benches and end up walking the labyrinth. And if the weather's bad, there are other ways to do that too. This is one I got at a gift shop once. It's a labyrinth and a stylus, I guess you'd call it. The only problem with this is that this is almost literally fingernails on a chalkboard when you run this through here. You can also print a labyrinth out on paper and trace it with your finger. And there's something about winding towards the center that helps center you, and then winding back out to return to the world. There's so many different things it could mean, and I'm sure it would mean something different to you too, and something very good and God-given. Another type of prayer is called Lectio Divina. That is an ancient one that was almost lost for a while, but it has had a wonderful resurgence, and it's a way of reading Scripture so that you read through the Scripture, you sit in silence for a while, you listen for words to jump out at you. It's not reading Scripture to learn so much as it is to listen to what God might say, whether it's directly related to that Scripture or not. It's using the Bible in prayer. If you're interested in that, look it up online. Lectio, Lectio, Then the second word, D-I-V-I-N-A, Lexia, it looks like Lectio Divina. Another type of prayer is a prayer of examen. Now, the prayer of examen, I think it's more properly pronounced in Latin, examen. In that, you ask at the end of the day, you go back over your day and you look for the moments where God felt distant. Where are the moments where God was not in your day? And you lift them up to God. Then you ask where are the moments in your day where that God was especially present, and you consider those, and then you ask what God might lead you towards tomorrow. And in that silence, now you see there's an element of confession in there too, isn't there? And also perhaps of intercessory as you approach the next day. It's a good type of prayer. Another one that I would lift up, this is my personal favorite most days, is called centering prayer. Now, there has been much written on centering prayer, and right now meditation is very popular in our world, especially Buddhist meditation, whether it be transcendental meditation. There's several different schools, Zen and whatnot. But centering prayer is the Christian version of it. All of these are good, and God is present in all types of meditation. But in centering prayer, oh gosh, more than I can say in just a few moments. Sometimes you use a phrase that helps you to enter into it, but you hold that lightly. What makes centering prayer is your intention. If you are sitting in silence with an intent to make space and to let God in, if you are sitting there with that intention, then that makes it prayer. And the reason that I love that definition so much of intention as making anything prayer is that it really does make anything into prayer. Now, there's a difference between when we sit in silence and other times when we bring it into our work and into our activities. But let me give you an example. You all may remember, what would it be, a year and a half ago, whenever the last election season was, we did a sermon on the soil and the different kinds of seeds planted in the soil to help us be in a healthier place in election season. And again, I joked that I have black thumbs. I can't grow anything with seeds. Well, I decided I don't like that, and I decided I'd start to learn a little bit more about plants. And so, Christmas poinsettia took a little bit of a hit over a Christmas break. However, it's still alive, and I've managed to keep it alive this long. I even went over to Campbell's and got this. I'm using an app to track it because, of course, I'm using an app to track it. It suggested I name this plant Robert plant. So in honor of our beloved musical director Michael, I decided this plant is henceforth named Robert. But here's why I'm showing you this. You see, because part of what's inspired me to become better with plants and with living things is the Bible and God, and recognizing that that's life and that God made us caretakers of the earth. And I didn't like it about myself that anytime a plant comes my way, I kill it unless somebody helps me. I thought, you know what? I don't like that about myself, and you might even describe it as a call for me to find something deeper in at least dipping my toes into gardening, even if I never become as great a gardener as Eric and all the others and Bob who take care of our plants here at church. Even if I never get to that level, at least I've done something to get more in touch with more of the life that God put in this world. Now, see, my intention with Robert here, my intention with this poinsettia, and I hope my intention with my entire life is to have it be God directed, to have it be God intended. And that makes it prayer. And is that prayer that's answered? Well, in a sense, that doesn't make sense. But in another sense, yes, of course it's answered. Because whenever we intend God to be there, God is there. And I can't think of a better answer to a prayer than that. All right. I hope you gained something from my ramblings on prayer. I hope you're doing well this week. This Sunday, we have the last in the series on doubt, and it's going to be on the question that causes causes doubt for more people than any other question, and that is God and suffering. And I hope that you have found in this series that your doubt is taking you to a deeper, richer place, realizing that it's a gift from God. If you have any questions, or if you want to share your doubts with me, I would love to hear and walk with you in that journey too. My Wednesday video next week is going to be where I doubt these days, and I still don't know what I'm going to say. I think I know what the doubt is, but I don't know what I'm going to say about it. So I look forward to sharing that with you, and I hope you'll share some of yours with mine. In the meantime, take care, and I will see you Sunday.